Well, my dad had many names. You know, his name was Mervyn Albert Matthias Dorsey. My dad was like a very stern man, very strong in his ways, and of course he brought up a family of 10 children. So therefore, you know, his duties were pretty heavy duties, you know, and I had great respect for him, you know, and he was very stern but very charismatic, you know. The women loved him, you know. The women, the women loved him, and my mother used to get so jealous, you know. But and vice versa, because the men used to look at her as well, and then he would get jealous too, you know. But when I was growing up, you know, way back in India, you know, and we were there right before the riots started, and of course, being a little boy, I was afraid, you know, because you hear the sounds and the rustle and the bustle of people in the streets, and it was quite frightening. But when I knew my father was there, I felt safe. I really felt safe, and it's a funny thing, but it sort of goes down the line. That sort of feeling goes down the line, because my youngest son, you know, when we lived in England, and he was a little boy, and I'd have been on the road, and I'd come back, and it was quite scary in that big house in England. So I think as a little boy he was scared too, you know. But he said, and he's told me this many times, he said, when I smelled your cigar, he said, I felt safe, because I'd go straight to my bar, light up a cigar, and I'd then come back from work and have a drink and relax, you know. And he said, I felt safe, which is sort of passed down the line sort of thing, you know. And that's so wonderful to hear. My dad was a pillar of strength, really, and a bit of a show-off too sometimes. You know, like, for instance, if we had a party, you know, he'd demonstrate his strength, and he was strong. He was a strong man. You know, he'd put 2 chairs out, and he'd put his feet on one chair and his head on the other side, and he'd say, okay, anybody, jump on my tummy. And no matter what weight you were, you could jump on his tummy, and he wouldn't even bend. He was like a board, you know, it's unbelievable. No matter what size the person was, he would let them stand on his belly, you know. And that was my father, but a very charismatic man, very charismatic indeed. And you know, I find myself using all his traits, you know, all the things that he ever did and said, and I use it, and even my mouth, my expressions, my chewing, the way I chew, everything is my father. I am my father's son. You know, I miss him dearly, and of course I want everybody out there to make sure that you remember to call your father on Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to everybody out there. God bless you.